I want to know if the new SigEnergy battery system has overtaken my Tesla Powerwall 3. I've asked my brother to compare the two systems. He has access to my Powerwall 3 data as well as the newly installed SigEnergy system he's installed at his sister-in-law's house.
So what I thought would be useful first of all is compare the two systems. So effectively we're comparing the system management of SigEnergy versus Tesla Powerwall over a relatively short period. So the Powerwall system is 27 panels at 450, so 12 kilowatt peak output.
Yeah, that's on our house.
That's on your house.
Absolutely.
Tesla Powerwall 3 and a DC battery pack, which gives you 27 kilowatt hours usable. Has a DC input limit of 20 kilowatts. It's a very high limit. You can put a lot of panels into the back of the Powerwall 3. You've got a 6 kilowatt export limit. The inverter limit is 11 kilowatts, and you're on the intelligent Octopus Go import tariff, which gives 6 hours at just under 7 pence and 30 pence for the rest of the time. And you've got Octopus Agile export, where the rate varies for each 30-minute period throughout the day. And then it's controlled by Tesla Opticaster Ai, and you've got it in the savings mode. So if I look at the SigEnergy system we're comparing it with, you've got 19 solar panels, so 8.84 kilowatt peak. It's got SigEnergy with 2 off 8.76 kilowatt hour battery, so 17.5 kilowatt hours usable. A DC charge rate of 0.5 C, so that means you can charge at half the capacity of the battery. So each one can charge, a 9 kilowatt battery can charge at 4.5 kilowatt.
Okay.
So the total 9.1 kilowatt hours. Export limit agreed with the DNO is 7 kilowatts. So this system also has an imbalance. In other words, it can produce more power than it can export, but it's much less of an imbalance than your system.
Because mine's about double, so I can export 6. The maximum, the peak is 12.
Yeah.
And this one, what is the imbalance roughly?
It's 7 export to 8.8, but it also has Octopus Agile export, and with the rate varying for the 30-minute intervals through the day. Now the control is via SigEnergy AI mode using Profit Max.
Just talked about Octopus Agile. Is a smart half-hourly dynamic tariff that changes every 30 minutes, tracking the wholesale energy market. And from what I could see, it looks like Octopus are the only people who do this directly.
That is true. So the national grid effectively set day-ahead prices, but they're the only one offer an Agile tariff. So
And I think this is where batteries will eventually end up
Yeah.
going. Those people who are interested in
Yeah.
helping the grid and maximizing their return and everything else.
That's right. So, I mean, if I just quickly flip to... So this is the dashboard for Octopus. If you look today, it's going to hit 21 pence from 6:30 to 7, and it's going to stay pretty high all evening. So a good algorithm will be charging the battery up in this period.
In the middle of the day between
Yeah.
sort of...
Well, this is the low period. So here, I mean, today hasn't gone as low sometimes, but basically the export rate is only 10 pence. This morning it was up to about 14 pence. Again,
Okay.
a good time to export if you had excess power in your battery.
Okay.
But a comparison of performance, the SigEnergy has exported just over 1 megawatt of power in the 4 weeks or whatever that it's had, so 1,080 kilowatt hours. So if it had been on the standard rate at 12 pence, it would have earned £129.60. But because it was on this AI mode, which sold the power predominantly at the higher prices, it had a 44% increase. So it's earned 187.26 in that 4 week period, which is quite impressive.
That's very significant.
And the performance seems very good. And if I look at what it's doing, it seems to be logical in terms of when it discharges the battery, when it then starts recharging it. And it's good at leaving room in the battery for solar input. There's no clipping. Initial thoughts on the Powerwall is its inconsistent performance. It just changes how it does things, and it's hard to work out what it's trying to do. And it's wasting solar. It's failing to leave enough capacity in the batteries to absorb all the solar produced. And there's no logical reason why it should do that.
We tried the time-based system. We tried to work with Tesla's support. 2 months.
Yeah.
And it never left enough room.
Yeah.
And And then we've now gone to Agile, and it looks as though it's doing the same.
That's
We've
right.
got the same issues there.
Yeah, SigEnergy, basically, when I put on AI mode, they said it will operate in 1 week's time. So for 1 week, it was operating on just self-sufficiency or whatever. Then after 1 week, the AI kicked in and it started. But with the Tesla, it's hard to see what they're trying to do. It doesn't feel logical. I thought it'd be interesting for you to see how SigEnergy is managing the system, and we can look at Tesla a bit later. There's a number of AI modes you can have. Profit max, which is the one I'm using, self-consumption, time-based control, full feed into grid. And I don't really know all of these, but the one I've chosen is the max profit. So back to the homepage. So I think the best screen to start with is this one. So what this shows, the line at the bottom there, is the Agile export rate. The higher line, the sort of yellow coloured line, the highest line, is the buy rate. So this shows Cozy Octopus, where you have cheap periods and more expensive periods. And the line in between is the battery storage level. So it's come into this morning with less 20% of power, and then what it's then done is recognise that it's better to export solar at this time rather than charge the battery, because there's a little peak in the morning where it goes up to 14 pence nearly for export. So rather than store the power immediately, it just exports power through the morning and really onto this period in the afternoon. And then it knows that coming later on is much more expensive periods here. So it starts at about 15 pence from 4 o'clock.
So it's deliberately filled the battery.
It's deliberately filled the battery. And what it will now do, it will probably export excess solar from this period. But it's still holding the power because it knows that at 6 o'clock, the rate's going up to 20 pence. A good rate. So if you can, export in that period, you're going to make good money. So looking at your Powerwall 3 system, which you moved to the intelligent but what's striking is that it's keeping the battery levels very high despite the solar that's coming in. If we go forward a couple of days, you can see the point where that's causing major curtailment of the solar. So this is the point where Tesla has not left enough space in the battery, and the solar, rather than running at around 10 kilowatts input, has had to cut right back to 6.5 kilowatts. So you've got lots of storage as well. You've got 27 kilowatt hours of storage. So
good point.
It's perfectly, as we know from how it ran before, it's perfectly feasible for it to manage the battery storage to make sure you don't curtail solar. You've got a forecast and all the rest of it. If we go on, you can see again the effect here where it's curtailing the solar again, because again, it's just made very little room in the battery.
Yeah.
And then, even today, another sunny day where unfortunately it's just throwing away good power. But it's bizarre. If you look at today, there's a gap here. It's not exporting anything, even though the battery's about to fill up. So looking at the two systems on the 8th of July and comparing how they've behaved. So if you look to start with at the battery levels, the SigEnergy is coming in with towards the minimum level of battery into the morning.
So 11%.
11%. But the Powerwall is at 100% until 6 a.m. And then if you look at what's happening, the SigEnergy is exporting from 6 a.m. So any power that it's getting is exporting to the grid.
From the solar.
From the solar. Actually, grid exports from 7 a.m. The Tesla, that is, what time is that?
6:30.
6:30. So it's exporting from 6:30 till 7. This is exporting until 8. And then from 8 until 9:30, it's charging the battery.
So let's just go across and look at the Powerwall. So 8, that's 7:30. It's starting to discharge a bit.
Yeah.
Until 8. And then it stops. It's just the solar after that, I think.
Just the solar.
Yeah, minus the home use.
Yeah. So what's the next thing? I mean, I suppose.
When's the next big discharge?
So it's now. So battery charging until we said 9:30. Then it's discharging from 9:30 till about 11. So I suppose that corresponds, if you look at the prices.
Yeah, about 11p, 11.
Yeah.
11.4. So let's look at the Tesla again. So 9:30.
9:30.
Okay, it's not doing a full discharge there.
No.
Until 11.
Till 11.
Well, now the power being generated by the panels is more than the house needs.
Yeah.
And so we're starting to see the battery below starting to fill up.
Yeah. It's exporting, so the SigEnergy is exporting. They're slightly different systems because of the size of the batteries and everything, but from 12:40 until 3, it's basically discharging from the battery. So 12:40 till 3, so the battery isn't full.
So again, we've got a situation, we're generating 9-point-something kilowatt from the solar.
Yeah.
So while it discharges the full to 6,
Yeah.
the extra has to go in the battery.
Yeah.
And that's why we bought 2 batteries to accommodate all the...
And if this had come right down, there's plenty of space in the batteries.
Yeah, just don't understand why it didn't export more earlier on in the day.
And then I suppose the big export from this comes from 3:30 it starts, then the big export is from 4. And then it dips slightly at 5, because I imagine the price drops slightly, and then again exports from 6 until 7, after 7.
So going to the Tesla from 4. So it stopped discharging.
Where's 4 here? 1600, yeah. It's just discharging at the same rate, yeah.
Yeah. So the battery's full.
Yeah. And then it stops
It's being solar, and then it
stops at 7 basically when
yeah. Okay.
So
really we've lost all that solar already, and now it just chooses.
And it chooses again at 8. Why is it going at 8? Yeah, so the price does pick up a little bit at 8 o'clock. I suppose the big criticism with Tesla is why it hasn't made loads more space in the battery.
Yeah.
And exported sooner, so that the battery, because it does seem to be exporting more at the more expensive times, but it's not making significant room in the battery to store the energy you are going to produce later in the day.
When I talked to Tesla support about the issues with the time-based control, they said they had made the new algorithm so that the battery does not run out of power by the end of the day.
Yeah.
The impression I got from that was that they were deliberately maintaining power in the battery rather than discharging it.
Yeah.
And even though they could see we weren't making use of all our panels, they considered it was operating the way it should. But certainly that wasn't to our benefit.
Yeah.
So do we have to go to a third-party automation software, even though Tesla doesn't support it? Like Home Assistant.
Well, yeah.
Maybe that's the way we've got to do it.
Yeah.
But yet again, despite all the hype and everyone telling us how good this Tesla Opticaster Ai is, I think it has problems.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
So I want to round this discussion off as the Tesla Powerwall owner with a warning. If you're thinking of buying a Powerwall, be aware of a number of things. First of all, Tesla doesn't support third-party software or systems. In other words, products from anyone else other than Tesla, their system doesn't work with. So if you're like ourselves, we bought a car charger before we put in solar and a battery, you'll have problems, as the Tesla battery does not communicate with the charger. And what we then found was whenever Octopus sent signals to the car to charge in the middle of the day, all it did was empty our Tesla battery. And we then had to try and find a solution around it, because Tesla weren't going to help us, and we had to use Home Assistant. And Tesla doesn't recognize that. It doesn't support any of these solutions. I've also seen mention that Tesla solar panels need to be used. We don't have Tesla solar panels. So I think it's rather ironic that Musk, who as I understand doesn't patent any of his products, restricts the use of the battery system to only its own products. So just be aware of that. Once you buy Tesla, and we bought it not realizing all these systems, our panels aren't Tesla panels. The car charger isn't one. So whether we have to now buy a Tesla car charger to get the two systems to work, we've actually got Home Assistant in there. But it's not a good place to be. Our Powerwall 3 worked brilliantly last year, and the early part of this year Tesla decided to change their AI algorithm, and we've had problems ever since. Even though we've communicated this to Tesla, we first of all used the time-based system, which we worked very well last year. We didn't change anything, and the Home Assistant, which we overcome the drainage of the Tesla battery when the car was charging. Tesla changed the system, and we've had problems ever since. And even though we've communicated to Tesla support, and we spent a 2-month period trying to get them to help us, in all honesty, I don't think Tesla care. So before you buy a Tesla system, just be aware of it. And I think SigEnergy really is worth considering. And unfortunately, it wasn't around when we put our system in at the beginning of last year, because I would seriously think differently if I was doing it now.